Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something that, honestly, on the surface sounds incredibly niche, but it actually holds some pretty profound insights into human psychology and neurology. We are going to explore the strangely captivating world of toy food ASMR, and we're going to unpack the real science behind why watching simple, everyday videos of plastic toys being chopped up can so deeply relax our minds. So why does cutting pretend food relax us? I mean, let's just acknowledge the elephant in the room for a second. It sounds totally ridiculous, right? We're talking about watching a plastic strawberry get sliced in half, or a pretend carrot clicking apart, or a tiny toy knife pressing down on a wooden tomato. No way that should be interesting. But millions of people find immense relief and relaxation in these exact visual and auditory triggers. So what is it about our brains that makes us respond so positively to this? Well, let's do a quick comparison to put things in perspective. Think about real cooking for a minute. Real cooking can be, frankly, a huge mess. Real knives are sharp, they're risky, and they demand a lot of stressed attention. Plus, real cooking comes with goals, exact timing, cleanup, and the heavy expectation that you're going to have an edible product at the end of it all. It's an inherently high-stakes situation for our nervous system. But then, look at toy food. Toy food completely removes all of that pressure. It turns the entire act of cooking into this harmless, repeating pattern. It's safe, it's totally predictable, and there is absolutely zero pressure to perform. Section 1. The strange appeal, low stakes, high calm. Think about this idea for a second. Nothing is being cooked, nothing is being eaten, and absolutely nothing important is at stake. You know, our brains are incredibly efficient machines, constantly scanning our environment for threats or new tasks to handle. When you look at a plastic tomato being cut on a screen, your brain instantly understands those low stakes. You recognize the familiar object, sure, but because there are zero real-world consequences, it completely frees up a massive amount of your mental energy. You're just no longer on high alert. Moving on to Section 2, the core sensory loop. See, expect, hear. The whole thing really works through this brilliant 4-step cognitive loop that just keeps people hooked. Step 1 is simply to see. You instantly understand the toy object and the action that's about to happen. Step 2 is expect. You know the cut is coming and you eagerly wait for that sound. Step 3 is hear. The satisfying click or snap finally arrives. And step 4 is release. The moment completes itself. See, expect, hear, release. The whole thing happens in mere seconds, but that cycle is deeply, neurologically satisfying. And because of that loop, ultimately, the brain just does less work. Because those 4 steps are so incredibly easy to follow, the video isn't asking you to follow some complicated storyline. It doesn't demand any emotional investment or force you to process complex, new information. By giving your nervous system this soothing, predictable event over and over again, your brain essentially gets to just idle in a really peaceful state of restful observation. Section 3. The science of ASMR and its measurable changes. Now, actual peer-reviewed research backs this up. Back in 2015, researchers Barratt and Davis found that ASMR participants reported using these kinds of videos specifically for relaxation and sleep support. Then, in 2018, Poerio and colleagues discovered that ASMR responders showed a physically reduced heart rate and a more positive affect, meaning their mood literally visibly improved. And even going back to 2005, Menon and Levitin linked pleasant auditory experiences directly to the brain's emotion and reward networks. Now, sure, while these studies aren't exclusively about toy food, they prove a massive point for us. Gentle sensory media creates real, measurable physiological changes in the human body. To understand exactly how a fake plastic carrot leverages this biology, we have to talk about predictive processing. As defined by Friston's 2010 work in Nature Reviews Neuroscience, this is the theory that the brain uses expectation to interpret sensory input. Basically, your brain constantly wants to know what comes next. Toy food ASMR satisfies that urge flawlessly. You see the plastic knife resting on the seam of the toy food, and you know a snap is coming. Your brain makes a safe prediction, and boom, the video immediately fulfills it. Section 4. Harmless surprise and safe variation. This works so well because the viewer isn't shocked by what happens. The viewer is rewarded. You know a snap is coming, right? But you don't know its exact texture. Is it going to be a crisp plastic snap? Will it sound a little hollow? Or maybe a soft wooden scrape against the cutting board? That tiny, safe variation in the sound provides this highly rewarding little surprise that keeps your attention completely alive without ever crossing the line into triggering any actual stress. Now, let's dive into why visual clarity is absolutely crucial here. A really clean scene drastically reduces your mental heavy lifting. There's no background clutter for your brain to sort through. It's incredibly easy to identify the objects. The cut has a definitive beginning, middle, and end. And most importantly, the sound perfectly matches a visible cause. When you see that toy knife hit the board and hear the click at the exact same millisecond, your brain receives total confirmation. It feels profoundly satisfying. It's also exactly why these videos cross language barriers so effortlessly. The sound and the image are doing all the explaining for you. But for any of this to actually work, the pacing has to be absolutely perfect. There literally must be space before the cut. If cuts happen too fast or if the scene feels rushed, your body actually starts to tense up because it can't anticipate the action. So deliberate space and a kind of slowness before the movement is essential to build up that gentle, calming expectation. And equally important, space after the sound. Let that sink in for a second. By intentionally spacing out the rhythm of the video, you're allowing the brain time to fully process that sensory trigger. You are giving the mind a moment to release the anticipation and actually relax into the experience before the next loop even begins. Section 5. Safe usage and healthy habits. So how do people actually use this? Well, at bedtime, try watching with a low volume and a dim screen to help your mind wind down. Or during a busy workday break, you can use it to give your attention a small, simple place to land for just a few minutes. And during moments of acute stress, it can be a fantastic tool to help shift your mind away from racing, anxious thoughts and ground you right back into simple, concrete sensory details. Now, we do need to be clear about one thing. ASMR is a wellness tool, definitely not a medical treatment. Toy food videos are not some clinical cure for serious anxiety, chronic insomnia, or severe sensory sensitivity. They are simply one helpful, low-stakes tool that you can utilize in a much larger, comprehensive care plan. Which brings us to the end of our explainer, but I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Which toy food sound relaxes you the most? Is it a crisp plastic snap, a soft wooden scrape, or maybe just the visual of the final reveal? Think about your own sensory preferences. The brain just loves moments it can complete without effort, and calm very often begins with absolute simplicity. It's totally fascinating how a pretend cut can create such a real, measurable relaxation response. Thank you so much for exploring the strange, soothing science of toy food with me today. And hey, keep paying attention to what brings your mind peace.